Welcome to another tutorial by the KB division of Telco LLC. My name is Wayne A. Tellisford, aka DJ Dandy, Mr. Level Up. Today we're going to be talking about the Master Service Agreement. This will be a comprehensive tutorial. A vital document frequently used in business contract negotiations is the MSA, the Master Service Agreement. It lays the groundwork for future agreements between parties, providing a framework for the provisions of service or goods and the terms under which future transactions will take place. This tutorial aims to elucidate the purpose, the key components, and the negotiation strategies related to the MSA. Purpose of an MSA. The primary purpose of an MSA is to establish a framework for future transactions. This is between two parties, typically the provider and the client. Rather than negotiating terms for each individual project, the MSA outlines the general terms and conditions that will govern future work, streamlining the contracting process. By outlining the general terms and conditions in advance, the MSA streamlines the process of entering into future agreements. This can result in significant time and cost savings, as parties do not need to renegotiate the same terms for each subsequent project. Setting expectations. An MSA sets clear expectations for both parties regarding the scope of work, responsibilities, the payment terms, intellectual property rights, confidentiality, dispute resolution, and other key aspects of the business relationship. The key components of a master service agreement. The introduction and definition starts this way. This section that we're going to talk about provides an overview of the parties involved and the key terms used throughout the agreement. We'll start with the scope of service. The MSA should clearly outline the scope of service or goods to be provided by the service provider. This section may include specifics such as deliverables, timelines, and performance standards. Payment terms. This section details the payment terms including pricing, invoice procedures, and payment schedules. Warranties and indemnifications. This section outlines the warranties provided by the service provider and the indemnification provisions that protect both parties from certain liabilities. Terms and termination. The MSA specifies the initial terms of the agreement and the condition under which each party can terminate the agreement. Confidentiality. This section addresses handling of the confidentiality information and may include non-disclosure provisions. Dispute resolution. The MSA outlines the process for resolving disputes that may arise under the agreement. Governing law and jurisdiction. This section specifies the governing law and the jurisdiction in the event of a legal dispute. So now we move on to negotiating a master service agreement. Negotiating a master service agreement requires careful consideration and effective communication between the parties involved. The MSA sets the stage for future business relationships, making it essential to negotiate terms that are mutually beneficial. And to the success of the partnership, it has to be conducive. Below are some key steps and strategies for negotiating an MSA. Understanding the business objectives. Before entering into any negotiations, it is critical for both parties to have a clear understanding of their own business practices and objectives, as well as those of the other party. The understanding forms a basis for identifying common ground and areas of potential compromise. Identify key terms and priorities. Both parties should identify key terms and priorities that are essential to the success of the business relationships. These may include scope of service, pricing, payment terms, intellectual property rights, warranties, indemnifications, and dispute resolution. By prioritizing these terms, parties can focus their negotiation efforts on the most critical aspects of the MSA. Establish open communication. Open and transparent communication is fundamental to the success of negotiations. Both parties should be willing to express their needs, concerns, and their constraints. Establishing a channel for constructive dialogue can help facilitate the negotiation process and build trust between the parties. Seeking legal counsel. Seeking legal counsel is advisable for both parties involved in negotiating the MSA. Legal advisors can provide insight into the implications of various terms and ensure that the agreement aligns with the legal and regulatory requirements. Additionally, legal counsels can help identify potential risk and propose strategies for mitigating those risks. Focus on flexibility. While each party will naturally advocate for terms that favors their own interests, it is important to approach negotiation with a degree of flexibility. When it comes to flexibility, it's really important, and I really think that a lot of businesses don't have that flexibility in the negotiation conversations that they have. Parties should be open to exploring alternative solutions and compromises that accommodate the need of both sides. Flexibility can lead to a more balanced and sustainable agreement. Draft clear and specific language. Throughout the negotiation process, it's important to draft clear and specific language for the MSA. Ambiguity should be minimized to avoid misunderstandings in the future. Detailed provisions can help prevent disputes and provide clarity on the rights and the obligations of each party. Consider long-term implications. Parties should consider long-term implications of the MSA. Anticipating potential future scenarios and addressing them in the agreement can help avoid conflicts down the road. Additionally, the MSA should be adaptable to accommodate changes in the business environment or the scope of the relationship. Review and revise. After the initial negotiations, it is essential to review the draft MSA carefully. Both parties should take time to thoroughly assess the terms and seek clarifications on any points of contention. Revisions may be necessary to address concerns and ensure that the MSA accurately reflects the intentions and the expectations of both parties initially. Finalize and execute. Once the negotiation process is complete and all parties are satisfied with the terms, the final MSA should be executed. It's important to ensure that all relevant stakeholders have reviewed and approve the agreement before it is signed. That's how you execute a contract. In conclusion, negotiating a master service agreement requires patience, attention to detail, and a collaborative mindset. By approaching the process with diligence and focus on creating a fair and balanced agreement, parties can establish a strong foundation for a successful business relationship. Thank you, and this is Wayne A. Telesford, Mr. Level Up, DJ Dondi, closing out this beautiful session on negotiating master service agreement, understanding it, and having everything that you need to move forward with due diligence behind it. The mindset of collaboration is so important for KB by Telco. Knowledge base is not just about what is facts, it's also about what can be. And we hope that this gives you what can be.